live. We are recording, and I'm so excited to be with Jean Carlo here today. One of my favorite people, honestly. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you. Likewise.
Aww. So my name is Tahsha Renee, and this is episode 6 of Talk It Out with Tahsha Renee. I am the founder of Sisterhood of Sacred Fire and also the co-creatrix of the women's sacred rage therapy work that Jacquelynne Faith and I do together. If you're watching this in December of 2022, we do have a 4-week Zoom program that's starting January 9th. Super powerful program. And we also offer private sessions, and you can also work with me one-on-one on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. These are currently some of my free 20-minute mini coaching sessions. It's normally $200 an hour to work with me. And I am offering these 20-minute sessions now for $50 so that you who cannot afford a full session can at least get some sort of interaction with me. And as you'll notice, a lot of things happen in 20-minute phone calls with me. So it's well worth it. And I hope that we get to connect further on that. So without any further ado, let's move into our session with Mr. Jean Carlo. What is going on with you, kind sir? What is it you want to talk about today?
When I was feeling into it today, what I felt guided to ask you is about business.
Is about what?
Business.
Business. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So let me see, how do I ask you? I just want for you to share with me, how do you develop a brand? How are you developing your brand? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you get it going? How do you do the thing?
Yeah.
How do you take the idea and make it into something, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because Cheryl, who's episode 5, by the way, if anybody wants to watch that, if you're interested in these topics, had kind of a similar thing coming up. So this is an interesting theme that we're having, which I love. I love the topic of business in this aspect, especially when it's heart-led entrepreneurs that are doing these things that I feel like it's harder, more of a challenge for heart-led entrepreneurs to get their businesses started because they are so concerned with how they're going to help somebody. Like they want to help so badly that they don't want to fuck it up. They don't want to hurt somebody in the process. They don't want to look stupid. They're afraid of judgment. It's like all these things, right? So this, I'll tell you a little bit what I told Cheryl, to be honest, which is, it's a lot about messy action. Okay. So it's a lot about sitting down and saying, okay, I have an idea of what it is that I want to do. Even if it's 5 ideas, even if it's that's my first question to you. Do you have an idea of what it is that you want to do? Do you at least have the idea going?
Yes, I have many ideas.
Okay.
That's kind of the problem.
Okay.
Too many ideas.
Right. Well, and they're not really, right? So how, because I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm a Reiki master, I'm a coach, I have all these different hats that I can wear, right? What I did was I was oh, all of those things can be used to help people do whatever it is. What do you ultimately want to help people? What's the ultimate goal you want to help people with?
Just to reach the fullness of their potential through my gifts and talents.
Okay, through their gifts and talents?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is your title, right? So you want to have you written that down?
No.
Okay, let's have I'm gonna have you write it down because this is the start of it. This is it right here. This is how you do it. Because it's important to say, because now what's going to happen is once you get that written down, now underneath there, your question is how do I help a person do that? And 9 times out of 10, it's really how you've helped other people do that, how other people have said you've helped them do that, because I almost guarantee you, I know you help people all the time. So I know that you've already helped people in these ways, in some aspect, even in the small ways. I've seen you lead children and yourself through anger and rage. This could be part of a program, the anger side of it. So a lot of times, if you're trying to get people to go, okay, so write it down. First of all, I'm going to stop so you can write it down.
Oh, this one is not working.
It's okay. I'm just gonna pause the recording.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we writing down?
Helping people reach the fullness of their potential through my gifts and talents. Helping people. Reach. Got it. And
All
for
right.
me, sometimes that's confusing because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, okay, what wants to flow today? And sometimes I'm like, okay, today I feel like a singer. Or what wants to flow today? Oh, today I feel like I want to coach.
Mhm.
And every day is something different. And that's why many times it's so confusing.
Yeah. So what you have to give space for is in your coaching programs, you give the freedom to yourself to be able to do that with your coaching program. You know what I mean? So like maybe you do use your throat chakra and sing together. Maybe you decide on that day you don't want to coach and you guys are going to be doing something that's artistic. Maybe this is like something, maybe some of your clients, some of your ideal clients will be fucking artists who understand that, who fucking find value in that, who find expression, you know, that to be something that helps them to get more into their business or make more money because they're opening up that part of themselves. So for you now, you have to sit down and say, what is somebody's highest potential? So that's a question to probably write down. What does it mean when somebody's in their highest potential? What does that look like to them? And sometimes a better way to find that is, what does it look like when someone's not in their highest potential? So that you have this comparison of like, okay, it looks like this. They're depressed, they're sad, they're anxious, they're broke, they don't love themselves. So now the opposite would be, oh, it means that they love themselves, that they have more money, that they are creatively expressive, that they aren't afraid of judgment, they're not ruled by fear. So now you have all these things that are now like, oh, that's really highest potential. So what I want to do when I'm marketing is I want to talk about how it is I'm going to help people to do these things. And by the time they're done with my program, they're going to be at these spaces. And what that looks like in their real life is their business is successful, their relationships are healthy, they're able to sleep better, like whatever that is to them of what that is. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, so how do I do that? How is it that I've helped other people do that? How is it that I've learned in other coaching programs of what's taught me to get to where I feel like I love myself? I'm not afraid of fear. I'm getting better in my creative expression. I trust myself, my intuition. Like, so it really is sitting down and getting some things written out on what it looks like, right? And once you can do that and get some sort of thing together. So if you wanted to do, you could give different options. You could do a 3-day fucking program. You could do a 1-day free masterclass to get people into your program. So there's all these different avenues you can go down in that sense. But if you were to do something like just small, you could even say, I'm doing, you know, a 3-day program, a beta program, you could even call it. I'm doing a 3-day beta program. It's going to be, you know, really low cost, would normally be $1,000. For people coming in, it's $50, you know, something just really super low end in exchange for testimonials. Something that gets you your confidence going too. So I was telling Cheryl this as well. When we take the money aspect out of it, because as heart-led entrepreneurs, we have this thing of like, oh, if we're having somebody pay $1,000, oh my God, I feel like I have to have all that value that's in there, right? In actuality, the value is just that you're leading it and you know what you're fucking doing because you're trusting, you're leading it by faith and not by sight. I just decided to start saying that every day to everyone. So I was gonna say, is it 11:11? It's 11:15. So yeah, so having somewhat of a structure down, and then putting into some more fun things, which is like the name of your business. And the way to find the name of your business that I've done, like Sisterhood of Sacred Fire was not the name that we always had. The first name we had was, I'm going to remember the name of it. Women of Fire. I think it was Women of Fire. That's what it was. And,
oh wow, I like that.
And that name I found out last summer was fucking taken. And I was like in tears because I was like, I feel like that's what it's supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. But it was like taken. Like it was like somebody had paid for it. Like it was fucking like trademarked.
Yeah.
And so we had to sit down and we had to figure it out. And so Jacquelynne and I went back and forth, you know, I put names down on a piece of paper. She would throw things out to me. We wanted to still have fire in there. And we finally decided on Sisterhood of Sacred Fire. And it took us only an afternoon to figure that out because of that process. So I would sit down, and what I do is I go, okay, what are the things that I want to elicit? So you've got, you know, potential, there's a word, you've got, you know, heart-led, there's another word, you've got freedom, probably, you've got, you know, all these things that you think are words that would go with these things, and then the visuals that come in with that. Yeah, and then a lot of people hire branding people. You know, I do my own branding just because I'm that's my creativity. I'm not really a very creative person, to be honest, but I am creative in this sense, and so I just have a way to do that because I picture. It's kind of easy for me because I'm like, oh, fire, sisterhood. Like to me, it's easy. And I want something classy. I want something that looked, you know, expensive, really. As I want to say now, it looked expansive. I'm not going to say expensive anymore. It was expensive.
How you doing?
Yeah. So, and and I like the darker aspects. So does Jacquelynne. So we've gone dark. You see our brand is kind of like, like expensive, dark feminine. Like this really interesting thing we go back and forth on. I still don't feel like that's probably very smart in our stuff. We probably should keep one look, but I like them both. So I'm still trying to figure out a way to integrate the dark feminine and the expensive luxury.
I like them both too.
Yeah, it's like luxury, dark feminine. That's really, you know, so those are things you want to see. So, and I modeled some of those things and those off of what other people were doing too. So there's another thing, just look at what other people, what you like the colors that you like, or if you do like luxury looking type things. Pixar is all the branding you see is done off of an app called Pixar for me. Everything you see has ever been done on Pixar. It's a free fucking app. I do pay for the more expensive one because it gives me more stuff, like $8 a month. It's really not that much money. It's well worth it. I've been using it for years and years and years. So that's another thing I would say. And you can just put in things to look at, like stickers or pictures, and you just put in like gold, and it'll bring up all the things that have gold in it or whatever. So that's the more creative side. And I get a feeling you've thought about that side already. It's just a matter, again, of trying to get it all together. So this is why they say when you decide to do a business, it's not something that happens right away. It can take, you know, on my website, 2 years it's taken it to get it where it's at. And I still make changes to it, and I still fucking change shit on it. And it's not easy to do. I've done it all on my own. And it takes a lot of time. And I'm surprised I haven't broke this desk. I've hit this desk so many times trying to fucking put it together in the ways that I want. So, you know, it's maddening. Owning a business is maddening. It fucking opens up all of your shadow work. It's all the things. So yes, you need to say, okay, I'm going to start here with this. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to get together an actual program of what this looks like, of how I'm going to actually be helping people. Don't expect yourself to have that in day one. Maybe feel like somebody has hired you to do this, Jean Carlo. So maybe you give yourself 2 weeks to figure out an actual program. Every day you sit down, even if it's just for 20 minutes, and tell everybody, I need this 20 minutes to myself today so I can sit down and do my business. And you do an allotted time to sit down and like brainstorm and, you know, pick somebody else's brain if you need to. Whatever in that 20 minutes gets you to another step in your business. And that really should be your goal, is like, have I moved along in my business today? Have I progressed in some way? Have I done something towards it? And in the spots where you're like, wow, I'm jumbled and I don't know what to do. Fuck, I'm stuck. That's when you reach out to somebody. That's when you say, You put a post out on Facebook and say, who's been building a business? And when you got to this place, what did you find? So it's really a lot of just taking it day by day and working your best to work your business and really telling yourself there's a good possibility it's not going to be generating any money for 2 fucking years. Like, I mean, money you can live off of, okay? Because I'm still in a position 2 years later where we're still not fucking there yet. We've had moments of big money coming in. We've had moments of things where we've been able to whatever. We've also had moments where the motherfuckers made me almost homeless. So I'm just saying, it's a beast. So you have to really, if you can in the beginning have non-attachment to fucking outcome and follow your intuition over fear, and just have that thought process of I'm walking in faith, not by sight, which means I'm having faith that what I'm doing, I'm being heart-led to do. I don't care what my current reality is showing me. I don't care that I need the money from this right now. I don't fucking care. I'm walking in faith that it's working out, faith that it's fucking working. The news I got today that I was telling you about, on the verge of tears when I got that news, and I had just on repeat, this is working for me. This is working for me. This is somehow working for me. I'm pissed. I am sad. And this is working for me. And I'm still focused. And fuck you. I'm still going to keep going. So I do it too. You have to keep doing it. It's something you also teach your children, I'm sure.
Yeah. And also something I felt about what you were saying is that if something fell or is not working in that area, it's because you're being redirected to another one. So what you said of not being attached on how it was supposed to work,
yeah,
I feel is
it's
key.
big. So there's 2 things there, right? You have to be really careful too, that if it's not working and you just pivot, you're going to be pivoting the whole fucking time, right? If it's just because a lot of things aren't going to fucking work. And it may be that you need to be just holding the faith to keep forward. So how you know the difference in that, by the way, is by talking to your guides, honestly. It's by saying, am I supposed to be pivoting? Am I not supposed to be doing this? Do you want me to go a different direction? Now, if something tweaking something small, that's different. But if it's like, I've got a program out and nobody's fucking signing up and I can't get anybody to do shit, even on my free beta fucking bullshit, like what is going on? You know, what am I supposed not to be doing this? Like where you want me to go, give me a sign that tells me I'm still supposed to be doing this. And they will every fucking time. So I can't tell you how many times, literally even in the past couple of months, that I've been like, are we supposed to be doing this? Am I not supposed to be doing this? Do you still want me to do this? Because no, it shouldn't feel like this. I don't want it to feel like this. So fucking fix it. And then something amazing, you know, literally happens. And we go, okay, never mind.
Sweet.
Still going, you know. So I've even said those things, you know, even about Jacquelynne. I'm like, if having Jacquelynne, for me, I don't want anything that's not for my highest or best, nothing and no one. And I've said it, if Jacquelynne's not for the highest best of me in this business, I don't fucking want her in my life. And I've told her this, so this won't be a surprise to her. She hears this, but I don't want it. I don't fucking want nothing. So I got to a point where I was not attached to my business, the money it was making, the money in general, fucking people, my ego. I don't give a fuck. Does that mean that I'm not going to have some emotional reaction to things? No, that's not what it means. It means that I'm able to feel those things and keep moving because I don't have an attachment to it. I see it as like, oh, that, like, for instance, what happened today, which I don't want to talk about right now, but what happened today, you know, it's like, oh, I guess that wasn't for my best and highest, because if it was, it fucking would have worked out the way it was supposed to, or it's going to happen some other way, maybe, you know, whatever that was supposed to be. And I'm still disappointed. And I'm still like, what I'm doing with my calls, I'm literally going to bawl my face off. So I'm going to allow myself to feel those emotions, and I'm going to fucking keep moving forward, because nothing and no one in my current reality is going to deter me from what I know is my truth.
That's really powerful, to not be attached like that and to find that strength or whatever, because that allows real alignment to take place, and that will take you exactly where you're supposed to go.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
It allows you to, so let's just use this example. If I make a decision about the information I got today about myself and this business, where does that put me? It puts me stuck. And now I have more shadow work to do. And now I have more shit to do. And now I'm stuck. Whereas if I say the things I've said, which is this is working for me somehow, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry and I'm going to be saying over and over again, this is working for me while I'm crying. This is working for me. I get to feel this. It's okay. It's okay. I'm almost going to cry, almost just saying it and feel disappointed. It's going to be okay. I fucking believe in this work. I believe in myself. We are fucking going places and I'm just going to stay in my power while I'm bawling my face off. What does that do? That moves. It's almost like a neutrality, really. It moves it through me. That emotion gets to go somewhere and I get to keep going. It still gets to work in me. It does get to work for me because I'm still refusing to let go of the truth that I know in my body instead of this thing that's made me have an emotional reaction that fucking sucks. And then I get to be pissed off about and I get to be sad about. And if we can learn to do that in these moments where we feel not good enough and rejected, and because really the information I got really made me feel invisible, made our business feel invisible, and it made me feel rejected. Really, it made us feel rejected. And so if I can say, okay, I feel that, but it's not my truth. Instead of before, it would have been, wow, this is exactly how my parents have treated me. This keeps happening. It's 2 years later and this keeps fucking happening. Blah, blah, blah. I can't seem, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of that, there's a total difference of energy that's happening.
That's really powerful. And that leads me to my next question. How do you stay consistent when all kinds of shit comes at you? Yeah,
so that's where I mean, for you, I'm going to use your kids again. You have to look over and go, what would I tell my kids to do about staying consistent? What would I tell them? What do I tell them all the time? You know what to do. It's just a matter of fucking doing it. So it's commitment over feeling. It's like, I feel like I don't want to do this today, but you literally, what I would do, Jean Carlo, if for the next month, I would go in and every single day, like in a week, because I know you have children, right? So maybe on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, on Sundays, you sit down and you look at your schedule, what's going on to the following week with all your kids, and you find 20 minutes in there where you can schedule that into your schedule. And do you have like meetings, like family meetings?
Family meetings?
Yeah. Do you guys like sit down and say, this is what's going on for the week? And like,
sometimes.
Okay.
I like to have it more structure, but yes.
Okay. So that might be something maybe you can implement is like on Sunday nights or something where a day when you know everybody's going to be home together is take 10 minutes to say, this is what's going on next week. This is what you're doing and you're doing. This is what's going on. And on this time, I need everybody, maybe everybody has a calendar. Maybe you start making everybody have a calendar so they can see what's going on or put it in their phones or their iPads or whatever the fuck it is they use and say, and I need everybody to schedule out 20 minutes here because I'm going to be doing that for my business every day this week. 20 minutes. You can make 20 minutes for yourself. I don't care if it's in the shower. I'm going to take a shower. I'll be in the shower for 20 minutes. And that's your fucking time, like whatever it is that you need to do. But that would be, you need to schedule it out. There is an action behind. Sometimes there's things you just don't want to do. Now, I will also say that if you wake up and you're sick as fuck and you don't feel good, or you're pissed off about something that's happened and you're just fucking not with it, I definitely would not be doing anything that day regarding your business. That's going to fuck it up. Not fuck it up. You can't fuck up what's meant for you, but it will make it harder. It'll make it harder on you. So if you're having that day when you're like, or maybe you tell yourself on like for me, Sundays are like the day that I just don't do shit. I try to stay off social media. I don't do anything with my business. If I have clients, I don't schedule on Sundays. I just want Sunday to myself. So maybe for you, that's the same way. It's like you don't do any business, anything related on one day a week, and you pick that day, whatever that is for you. But I think it's important that we also, as heart-led entrepreneurs, don't just go off energy and don't just go off feel-good stuff. We have to have some sort of structure. We hate that word. It's fucking stupid.
Would that be like masculine structures?
Yeah, that's a masculine form of that's a masculine action. What do you want to call it? The feminine would be trusting that, trusting that to what's going to flow out of you when you sit down. The masculine is the action. The feminine is the trusting that it's going to flow and it's going to do something. So,
what does your masculine structures look like if you're open to share?
Well, It's weird because a lot of my masculine structures, I feel like I already have in place when it comes to the business anyways. And now a lot of my stuff is intuitively led for me. It's been not easy for me to try to figure out, shit, this is going to go off. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
What my next step is masculine wise, like structure wise for me, because our business is just not a common thing. It's like, I don't have a written out program that we do. So for me, I'd say my masculine stuff is posting. Is like when I get something to post, I post it, I talk about it, I share it. This was part of my masculine. This was, sitting down and saying, oh, I think I need to do and commit to doing 20 fucking sessions in 1 month in the month of December. When I'm about to bleed and I haven't for 4 months, just great things. They're probably super smart. But it is what it is. But that's, so I think it's action is really the masculine, right? So you get this feminine energy of like an idea and it's flowy and it's energetic, and the masculine is the action behind it. So for me, it's getting an idea and then implementing it. For another one was, raising our prices. So we've had a really hard time getting people to take our programs and at 11, and I'm raising them to $5,000. To work with me for a month, it's $2,000 currently, normally $3,000. And in January, I'm raising it to $5,000. Our private sessions, normally $500, raising them to $1,000. Those are masculine things that are fearful, that are expansive, that are kind of like, it's not working at this price, probably because what we're offering is below the value. It really fucking is. We're $5,000 coaches. We really fucking are. There's 2 of us. If we want to like have a life, we've got to raise our prices and we've got to get comfortable with that. And it needs to fucking happen. And it's probably just going to only continue to go up if we don't have signups. So we're just going to keep raising it until we get to where it's supposed to be, because it's not supposed to be lower.
So
I feel that. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Is there belief work that goes with that?
Is there what?
Is there belief work that goes with that?
Belief work?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's the first belief that I have, which is the last time I raised my business to $5,000, in a week from that time that I did that, I was calling a homeless shelter to come and fucking see if they had space for me the next day. So I am fighting through that, I guess you would say. I'm working to change that belief of like, that's not going to happen. We're going to keep moving past that. We're not the same people we were when that was happening. It's no, let me get really confident in what I'm about to say there. Cause I'm doing it right now. I'm not the same person I was. That's not going to fucking happen. I'm in a different space. I've done more work on myself. So you see the difference? How I was like, oh, and then I had to get into my power and be like, no, I'm deciding that's not happening. I'm deciding that's not happening. I'm never going to be fucking on the verge of calling homelessness, being unhoused ever again. It's not fucking happening for me. Never. So there's the difference. You just saw it happen. Of catching myself getting like in the fear of that, because what happens is I start to think, well, it could happen. What do you mean it can't happen? Anything could fucking happen. If anything could happen, you could be unhoused again. That's that other voice that was trying to work its way in there. And I have to be like, no, that's not happening. I'm deciding that's not happening. And even saying that, it still feels like an untruth, to be honest. But if I feel past that into my potential, the other truth is I have done a shitload of work. I'm not the same fucking person. I have more belief in myself. I have more belief in this business. I am way more confident. So yeah, so there's definitely beliefs in that. And I know women who are, I've seen a couple of posts actually in the past couple of weeks of women who are millionaires who are literally talking about their money blocks. They're in a $100,000, $500,000 fucking penthouse that they own. And their business is totally succeeding. And they literally wrote about how they were just telling their mate that they're afraid that it was all going to disappear and they were going to lose it all. The fuck? I can
relate a lot to your story and to what you're saying, because I have been homeless, and 3 or 4 years ago, I was homeless, sleeping on the beach here in Los Angeles. So sometimes I still have those beliefs come up, even now.
Right. So what we have to tell ourselves is, first of all, we're just deciding that's not going to fucking happen. We're going to find a way. We're going to find a fucking way. Source, God, Jesus, our people are going to co-create with us, and we're going to find another fucking way. Or if it did somehow happen, it'd be temporary. We'd get the fuck out of it and we'd figure it out. So there has to be something that just says, I will rise above this. I will find a way out of this. I will, I'm not going to let the fear, because the fear of it is what really honestly makes it happen. It's if the fear is bigger than your belief around what your truth is. If you're choosing to have that fear be your truth and that feels more real to you, then keep working on it until it doesn't feel that way, which is to change those things, which is like, okay, I see that. I get to be afraid of it. It's not my truth. I'm deciding it's not my truth. Whatever's in me, it's believing that. We are removing that. I am removing that. It doesn't get to stay here. That is not my life. My life is stability, security, certainty in my bank account, in my life, in my business, in my health. I am happy. Things are easy. Things are working out for me. I've done the work over here. It's time for life to be easier. And just really like those bringing those affirmations in hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be in as much flow as I was when I was homeless without being homeless. Because thanks to being in nature and connected with, I call her Mama Ocean. Thanks to being so connected with Mama Ocean, I would just ask her question on a daily basis and she would tell me, okay, left, right, this, that. And thanks to that, I manifested being a part of the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles and performing in all the biggest stages in Los Angeles.
Shit. Okay, so for you, it's tapping back into her on a daily basis. And even if that means for you just walking outside and getting literally sitting on the ground and putting your hands in the earth, or your bare feet in the earth, or literally touching a tree and take that 20 minutes of your 20 minutes I was talking about. And do that if you don't feel like doing anything else. Just connect with her. Ask her what you're supposed to be doing in a way that's like physically doing it, not just like pulling her in meditation, but like physically. And again, I'm getting that's something that should be in your programs. You should be teaching people that's how you're teaching people to tap into their intuition, to connect with their higher selves, to connect with nature more. So making that part of your program is that, that intuitively led portion.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go?
How much time do we have left?
We don't. We've gone past like, I don't know, probably like 10 minutes.
Well, I want to honor your time, and also I would love to receive this recording because writing it down just takes me out of it. So I wanted to focus.
I'll have a YouTube link for you today, because I'm uploading everything as they happen. So yeah, I have a last call in like 20 minutes. So yeah, I probably should go. But beautiful. I really appreciate you being honest and open and vulnerable and allowing me to share all this as well on social media. It means a lot. And I am so excited for you. Everybody I talk to, I'm like, I'm so excited for you because it's true. I'm just like, there's really, again, if you're still watching and you want to book a session with me, there's a lot that happens in a 20-30 minute call. So, don't be shy. Come and see me.
Come and see her. She's powerful and she's amazing. For real.
I love you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. All right, babe. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you. Likewise. And thank you so much for your time and energy. I appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you too.